For a brief, chaotic moment, the internet believed it had finally built the AI we were promised. Not just a chatbot, not just a clever autocomplete engine, an AI with hands. And then, in less than 3 days, it became a masterclass in how fast hype, insecurity, and bad incentives collapse into a digital crime scene. This is the story of Clawdbot, later known as Moltbot, briefly known as that thing you should absolutely not install. The pitch was intoxicating. If normal chatbots are brains in jars, Clawdbot was the body. Claude with hands. An AI assistant that didn't just talk, but did. It could execute commands on your computer, search your files, manage your calendar, book flights, run scripts. You could message it through WhatsApp, Slack, Telegram, or even iMessage. It remembered things across conversations. It integrated with over 50 tools. It felt like the future finally showed up on GitHub. The internet reacted accordingly. 9,000 stars in the first 24 hours, 60,000 shortly after. Developers cheered. Power users rushed to install. Everyone else felt the familiar pressure. If I don't try this now, I'll be behind. There was one detail buried under the excitement. To work as advertised, Clawdbot required full system access. Not limited permissions, not sandboxed execution, full read and write access. Which meant, in theory, it could see your files, your passwords, your browser sessions, your tax documents, your private photos, your SSH keys. This wasn't a bug, it was the feature. You weren't delegating tasks, you were handing the keys to an experimental agent trained to predict text, not understand consequences. Security professionals noticed immediately. Everyone else noticed later. At 5 a.m., reality arrived. A polite but firm message. The name Clawdbot infringed on a trademark. The project had to be renamed. What followed was a frantic Discord scramble fueled by adrenaline, caffeine, and thousands of people watching in real time. By 6:14 a.m., the community chose a new name, Moltbot, like a lobster shedding its shell to grow. Symbolic, poetic, catastrophically timed. This is the part where the story stops sounding real. If a friend told you this over coffee, you'd say, "No, that didn't actually happen." But it did. Within seconds, bots grabbed the abandoned social handles. Those accounts turned into crypto scam billboards. Someone launched a fake token, symbol CLAWD. It hit $16 million in market cap in hours. $16 million. Meanwhile, the creator accidentally renamed his personal GitHub account instead of the organization. That got stolen too. Fake head of engineering profiles appeared. Hijacked accounts promoted pump and dump schemes. Everyone was suddenly an executive. If this were a movie, you'd call it contrived. Then you remember. This all happened in 72 hours. At this point, you're laughing. Not because it's clever, because it's absurd. The kind of laugh that says, "Wow, glad that wasn't me." But here's where the laugh catches. While all of that was happening, thousands of people had already installed the software. They had already clicked allow, already handed over the keys, already said, "Sure, take full system access." And not because they were reckless, because the idea was irresistible. An AI that handles the annoying stuff, the tedious stuff, the stuff you're sick of managing. We like to frame technology as an addiction, but it's also a burden. Updates, backups, permissions, constant vigilance just to not get burned. So when something shows up and says, "I'll carry this for you," We don't hesitate. We exhale. Here's the part we haven't said out loud. We didn't overlook the security warnings by accident. We saw them. Full system access, unrestricted read and write, an AI running outside the sandbox. We knew that was insane, and we did it anyway. Because we are hungry. Hungry for relief. Hungry for a machine that doesn't just advise, but handles. Hungry enough to pretend guardrails were optional if the payoff was rest. This wasn't dopamine. This was exhaustion. Modern computing is a second job. Miss one update, one backup, one permission, and you pay for it. So when something says, "I'll take care of this, just give me access," we don't evaluate risk. We feel relief. And relief shuts down judgment faster than ignorance ever could. That's why every warning got waved through. That's why every dialogue was clicked. That's why literally all security became negotiable. Not because we didn't know better, because we wanted this to work more than we wanted to be safe. This wasn't just a repo melting down. Real people lost real money. Savings, rent, hope. People got hacked, API keys exposed, accounts compromised. A real developer's work was stripped by scavengers. Bots, grifters, opportunists. And here's the part we don't get to gloss over. An entire influence layer watched this unfold and hit publish anyway. In 3 days, content flooded the internet. Threads, videos, tutorials. This changes everything. Nobody slowed it down. Nobody hit the brakes. They put their credibility on the line. They put other people on the line. And when it blew up, they moved on. No retractions, no reckoning. That's not ignorance. That's an incentive. Zoom out one more step. While all this unfolded, larger forces watched from above, not intervening, just hovering, like a star destroyer blotting out the sun. When power that large looms over your category, silence isn't neutrality, it's gravity. Power sets precedent by acting. Authority is justified later. And when institutions stay quiet, they declare the field to be weapons-free. Clawdbot wasn't an anomaly. It was a preview. Lawless actors, hype without brakes, a desperate customer base, brilliant developers with no map for hostile terrain. Add regulatory whiplash, nation-state interest. This is no longer a friendly ecosystem. It's contested. And because it's dangerous, the upside will be enormous. The breakouts, rare. The rewards, massive. The failures, brutal. Projects won't just fail. They'll be dismantled, repurposed, weaponized. The people who survive what's coming won't be naive optimists. They'll plan for escalation, for red line after red line getting crossed, for norms eroding, for the rule of law revealing itself as a polite suggestion for some. They'll be pragmatic optimists, not hopeful, prepared. They'll learn new signals of trust, new tells of opposition. Who hesitates? Who rushes? Who stays silent when silence pays? They'll assume unchecked systems don't stabilize. They spiral. And these pragmatic optimists will build accordingly. Clawdbot wasn't the collapse. It was the rehearsal. And the people who make it through what follows won't be the loudest, or the funniest, or the first. They'll be the ones who saw the spiral early and stayed standing when everyone else was still laughing. This is AI Security Report. Subscribe, stay aware, and stay ahead of the machines.